Last week, my Instagram reel on the Montblanc Digital Paper went viral and split the room. Some of you loved it, others called it an overpriced notebook. I spent more than a week using it, and today we're going to find out, is this thing actually good or not? Let's start by saying that this product here is not meant to replace or to be an iPad, and an iPad is not this. The digital paper is meant to feel like a real notebook with just enough modern integrations, like for example handwriting search or PDF markup, but without all the app noise and notifications. So if you want a distraction-free writing instrument that lives in the digital world, then this is the product. But what is the Montblanc Digital Paper? It's a 10.3-inch e-ink digital notebook that comes with the Montblanc Digital Pen with 3 interchangeable tips: linen, matte, and smooth. The tips change friction and even the sound of the stroke, so you can actually tune the glide of your pen to write on the digital paper. And that already shows that Montblanc has put some great effort into making sure that someone that buys the digital paper also gets the best possible writing experience while not using a wonderful fountain pen with 18-karat gold nib on a beautiful paper. So when writing with the pen, it gives quite a subtle haptic feeling, and it charges wirelessly on the device, and it has a weight of around 17 grams, so it's pretty light to avoid fatigue in long sessions. On the digital paper itself, you're getting 64 gigabytes of storage, you have Wi-Fi, and you have Bluetooth 5.4 that connects the pen to the tablet. The tablet itself has a weight of 436 grams, so it's rather light. If we look at the pen, we have to say that you don't have to expect that the pen feels like a Montblanc Meisterstück. This is meant to be a low latency writing instrument with zero strain, and therefore make a judgment on this pen based from a digital notebook perspective and not from a pen craftsmanship perspective. How does it feel to write? This is the whole point of this product. You have the tip that is linen that slows you down with paper-like drag for drafting and thinking. Then you have smooth that is more fast and silent for maybe quick annotation. And then we have matte that is something a bit in the middle, so I would say the perfect daily driver. The haptic nudge gives you a confident start to each stroke, which is going to help you with signature or with precise lettering. But now let's quickly see how it does and how it works. So let's see how the Montblanc Digital Paper perform. And we're gonna start by swiping down, because here we have the Wi-Fi, the airplane mode, and the settings. And what's interesting is the fact that you can actually personalize the buttons. You have one button on the top and you have another button here on the barrel, and you can actually select here in the customization what you want the button to do. So for example, you could say, I want this button here to be a fountain pen, and I want this button here to be the ballpoint mode. But let's go out of the settings. You see that there is different kind of settings here, but that's not what really interests us. We're much more interested in understanding how it performs. From here, you can select all the different kind of file types, for example, notebooks, you also have books, you also have the PDFs here, so the documents, but we're going to go into Quick Note to start with. And from here, you have on the top the menu. On one end, you have all the writing types: fountain pen, ballpoint, calligraphy, fine liner, pencil and highlighter, from extra fine to extra broad, in black, gray and white. You know what? Let's start by looking at how these different writing types look like. And we're going to start with fountain pen and medium, and then gonna go down to ballpoint, calligraphy, fine liner, pencil, and so on. So you see that the response is very good. And this actually looks like the stroke of a fountain pen. Very nice haptic feeling. But if you want to have a more ballpoint like feeling, and it's interesting because look at it, also the writing changes. You know that writing with a font pen also delivers a more beautiful writing font and style. Look at the ballpoint, how, let's say, messy it gets. But it's a very fast, but so different. So that's also very interesting. And then you can go down to calligraphy. Going down to fine liner. Pencil. And here you need to push hard if you want it to be darker. So you can actually do some nice sketching. And if you want it to be darker, you're gonna push harder. What is interesting is the fact that it is going to have a darker look only by pressing, not by the angle you're holding it. So the angle doesn't change how it writes, but the pressure does change the way how the writing is going to look like. So you see, I was pressing less here and way more here. And then we go over to the highlighter. There we go. And we have the fine liner highlighted. But what's also interesting is the different kind of templates that you have. So you go on templates and you can choose between 8 pages of templates. It goes from blank to lined medium, lined large, to half-lined dotted. But what's very, very beautiful is when it goes over to the to-do list. So you could actually use one notebook as a daily to-do list, and then you go back and see all your to-do list of the last 365 days. Or you go to the daily planner, the hourly planner. Or, for example, meeting notes, medium, large. Or if you go further, you even have inventory list, project plans. There was one great one that is, for example, the goal tracker here. Apply. You see it's working very well. Now, of course, you have everything that you've written on because you're putting the template on what you have written. But you can go here, make new page, and you're going to have your template. And here you define action steps, workout, film, YouTube video. So you see it works very, very well. I do want to have another writing test here because I want you to discover how it looks. By the way, this is the eraser and this is a lasso where you can select what you've written and then bring it over here. Let's discover once again how it writes. You actually have to be careful not to click on the button because in this case, button erases what you've written. So you have to make sure that you're always holding it in a way that you're not gonna touch the button. You see that there is no latency. The writing comes along very, very well. And even if you go into an extra fine, it's very precise and really serves the purpose. Again, depending on the pressure, I mean, it's a very, very interesting tool that you can use to write your daily notes. And given also all the templates that you have here, you also have, for example, if you go at, you have a travel journal, you have gratitude journal, you have a habit tracker, you even have a very interesting improve handwriting. So you go on here and you can actually improve your handwriting. You have 84 pages of improving your handwriting. I mean, it really has everything that is required also to step up your calligraphy. As you have seen from the demo, the digital paper of Montblanc holds pretty much everything one can wish for such an amazing tool. And it's really thought after in order to make it your daily companion that holds everything in one tablet, that is shareable, that you can look for by actually searching for your handwriting, and that makes it a very useful tool in this digital era. But let's look at 3 things that might be a kind of downside, even if honestly, I don't think it's even that crazy. One thing is that the pen, in order to have the haptic, it has a Bluetooth connection. So it has a battery, and if it dies, you cannot write until you recharge it. So you're going to magnetically lock it on the device, and that's where it charges. It's quite quick, and we also have to say that it stays charged for quite some time, so you need to write for hours and hours before the battery completely runs out. But hey, still, it could potentially be a downside. While, for example, on a Remarkable, the pen doesn't have any specific utility. It's just the tool with which you write on the paper. The second thing is lighting. And I mean, conceptually, this is meant to be like a notebook. A notebook doesn't have a light, right? So you actually need to be somewhere where you have enough light in order to see what you're doing and in order to see what you're reading, for example. And the third thing is the software maturity. We have to say that the core is solid. You can do everything that one wishes for with this kind of product, but the integrations are limited. So you can only sync using the Montblanc Cloud, plus maybe sending something directly to your address of the iPad, but you cannot use OneDrive, Dropbox, or Google Drive. So this is a very, let's call it clean, but also closed system. Now you're probably wondering by now about the versions and the price of the Montblanc digital paper. So it costs in Switzerland 780 Swiss francs. In euros, it's around 890, and in the US, around 905 US dollar. And there's 3 colorways. We have Mystery Black, which is the one we just checked out right now. And then there's the Cool Gray, and there's the Elixir Gold. And separately, you can buy this beautiful calf leather folio, which is something that Montblanc has done absolutely beautifully. And you have this also in different kind of colors. It costs 175 Swiss francs, so that's about 205 US dollar. And you can also get replacement tips from Montblanc. And you've heard me, I've already given you some context comparing some of the features with, for example, the Remarkable or the Kindle Scribe. But I want to go a little bit deeper because on Instagram, many of you were comparing the digital paper to the Remarkable 2. And so let's go a little bit deeper into that. So the Remarkable 2 is priced at $400 US. So that's pretty much half of the price of the digital paper. But we also have to say that the digital paper of Montblanc is the luxury and more tunable take on a very similar idea. The Remarkable is more a purist note tablet that is also ultra thin, that is light, and that has a pen that never needs charging. And you can do similar things as the one that you can do on the Montblanc digital paper. Now, what's interesting is that the writing feel that you have on the Remarkable comes from the texture screen and a passive pen. So while with Montblanc you have a Bluetooth pen that kind of interacts with the structure of the paper and with the tablet, with the Remarkable it's all about the surface of the tablet. So Montblanc's advantage is the pen system, because you have haptics, you have 3 friction tips, and you have something that is more a wonderful and high-end object in your hand. The only trade-off, I would say, or the downside, is the fact that for having these things, you have to charge the pen, and on the other end, Remarkable is on the market since a longer period of time. So probably they're a little bit further developed than the Montblanc Digital Paper. But we also have to say that Montblanc has worked several years now on these products, and what they've brought on the market is a product that you're going to use easily for the next 5 to 6 years, and you're going to enjoy it very much, maybe up until the moment where there's a new version of the digital paper. If you compare it to the Kindle Scribe, which is priced at around $500, I would say that it's a different kind of product. The Kindle Scribe is more an e-reader. You also have the light, so you can read during the night. Yes, you can write notes, you can write any kind of annotations, but it's not the same idea. The Remarkable and the digital paper are meant to be real notebooks, but digital, while the Kindle is first of all a book e-reader. So you're probably asking yourself, should you buy the Remarkable or should you buy the Montblanc Digital Paper? What's the answer? Well, totally depends on your personal feelings. The products are not very different from each other, but Montblanc has the added value of these wonderful pens with the 3 haptics, with the buttons, and with this beautiful mix between the paper and the feeling that the pen gives you and the peculiarities and features of the pen. And with the Montblanc Digital Paper, you can also purchase this beautiful folio. So it's also about how this product presents itself when you go in a meeting and when you open it up. It's also a conversation starter. It's a very stylish and cool product. But you probably want to know, what do I even think about the fact that there is a digital paper of Montblanc on the market? Some were criticizing the fact that Montblanc is the brand that is actually celebrating handwriting on paper with beautiful nibs. But it's also true that Montblanc is now preserving handwriting far beyond the classic handwriting as we know. And the whole digital sphere keeps on developing. And so this is a great way, after the augmented paper, how they're actually trying to cope with the future and to make sure that these two worlds meet each other. Maybe someone is going to start with a digital paper, is going to then move on into a Montblanc ballpoint, and is going to end up with a beautiful fountain pen writing on an amazing notebook. Of course, it will take commitment from Montblanc to keep on developing this product and having the best possible version being released over the years and software updates in order to have a product that is up to date. So my final recommendation is that if you're into this kind of products and if you see the utility in your daily life for such a product, I think you're going to be very happy with the digital paper. And until now, in the first 2 weeks that we've had the digital paper, I've got some very positive feedback from customers, and I've also personally enjoyed it very much. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section. I cannot wait to read all of your feedbacks, all of your comments, and stay tuned for a lot more content that is coming up. And don't forget that together we are changing the game.